I've now used Google Earth to try to get a better location on where the original homestead was. Somewhere in this forested area. This area is pretty much unused for many years, maybe never. There is some evidence of cows in here, that's about it. I can't help but wonder if this is what the forest looked like when Arthur Aylesworth, my predecessor, came to first inhabit the land. My initial point of reference would be the old homestead, which was on an area that's described as partially cleared of field stones. And I saw this pile of stones here, and can't help but wonder if maybe this is where they were piled up when they removed some of these field stones. But there are other large rocks, boulders, in the area, which would have made it difficult to build in the area. But that's some of the problems I'm looking at here, is try to find an area suitable for putting a home on, and then from there work in a westerly direction to try to find the graveyard. It's definitely an uphill battle here. Keeping in mind the footprint of a home back then could have been very small. 15 foot wide was the width of the family homestead in Michigan. But when we get near an area that looks good, we have to watch out for other more recent structures, such as this fence that was built from the local field stone. And of course they would have cleared the immediate area to collect these stones. So these areas have to be dismissed. You can't let the trees or the heavy underbrush slow you down or deter you, because obviously none of this would have existed even 50 years ago. But yet at the same time, if it's a very rough land with streams running through it, gullies, this sort of thing, you can dismiss that because a house or a graveyard wouldn't be built in that sort of an area. But this area has to be searched thoroughly despite the overgrowth, or undergrowth I guess you'd call it, or both for that matter. After hiking through the woods and getting scratched by the nettles, I'm greeted by Mr. Horse. We're still in the North Kingstown area of Rhode Island. This building was built in 1885. I'm on Interstate 295. It's Friday night, July 3rd, about 7:30 p.m. This would be the heavy holiday traffic coming out of Rhode Island. We've just left Connecticut and climbed up into the mountains of Vermont. This is how the folks in Vermont heat their homes. This guy has stacked this stuff up to dry, air dry, so he probably purchased it green. I don't think he harvested it in his own woods. I don't see anything nearby. There's houses in the area. I have no idea how long this would last, but it looks like it might be 2 winters worth. One of them completely dry and ready to go, and another one still drying for the following year. We are on Lake Champlain in Vermont, and we came down here to take the ferry across the lake, but it closed down at 7 p.m. So we'll be back tomorrow. We'll camp right along Lake Champlain tonight. It's pretty warm out still, so I raised the hood to disperse the heat from the engine. It has to go somewhere, and of course part of it will go inside the home. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not good. This is a cable that's in effect steering the ferry. It has its own power, and there's a cable on both sides. So the boat pushes itself across, but you don't have to steer it. If you look carefully, you can see the cable that's steering us right into the ramp. battle-scarred veteran. No, not the dog. The fort. You can see the moat easily, the damage to the walls. Look carefully at the top for the cannon. As you can see from the far shore behind the cannon, it's a very narrow part of the lake. They strung a very heavy cable or a chain between the two shores, keeping the British and the French, whichever it was, I've forgotten, from traveling up and down the lake, or at least it would slow them up enough they could bring their cannon to bear. Very effective barrier. Must have been a big chain. You'll remember that this British fort that they had taken from the French was where Nathan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys attacked, captured the fort, took the cannon to Boston, which assisted George in driving the British from that city. According to the sign, these were originally built by the French when they built the fort. It went back and forth between the British and the Americans after the British took it from the French during the War of 1776. Finally, repairs were made here at that time by the American Revolutionary Forces. We are laboriously taking a toll road up to Whiteface Mountain, upstate New York. It looks like it's going to be uphill all the way. It's almost 5,000 feet and we're starting at about 1,500. Benji and I made it to the summit at Whiteface, which is the name of the mountain, and a castle someone has built here. You can walk up to the top. It's a 1/3 of a mile nature trail. But the point of being here is the view. There's the road we took up. That's the road we took up, and the view, of course, is the whole point of being here. We'll take an elevator to the very top, but first we'll have to traverse this tunnel over 400 feet long. Thanks to the help of the elevator, we made it to the top. Looks like an anthill. Very popular location.